So I'm a fucking asshole, and I had a weird setting on my computer, and so when I was recording my first playthrough, I did not record any gameplay. So I recorded another session, and I tried to recreate it as faithfully as possible to what I am saying. So I hope you enjoy anyway. Fuck my life. Dun 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 dun. Shit. So do you know what I want? Do you know what I really fucking want? I want to be so talented and so renowned eventually, one day, to be able to stand on a, fuck, what should we name this? What else were we going to name this? Of course it's going to be Carl. I want to be able to stand on a stage in front of an audience of whatever, what have you, tens, hundreds, maybe eventually thousands, hundreds of thousands of people, and stand up straight in front of them with like the stage lights on me, my arms open wide, letting them know that I'm in full control of what I'm doing, and I don't know, just let some kind of talent flow through my mouth, through my voice. I wish I could sing, so that it'd be a lot easier to do that, right? To stand on a stage and sing. I'm not very good at it. One of my most frustrated dreams is to become a grunge singer. I don't think I'm anywhere near that. But I don't know, I guess I could read a poem eventually. I like to write. So maybe I could read something. Maybe I could study up on comedy so I can learn how to properly write comedy, because there's always something that I'm very interested in. And yeah, man, I just really want to stand on a stage in front of an audience and be able to share whatever talent it is that I have with them, right? I don't know what that looks like. I don't know what the talent is, but that's how I feel right now. That's what I want to do eventually. I want that to happen in my life. Anyway, we're playing Super Punch Out. We just beat Gabby J in 20 seconds. That's not bad. I don't know what my record is on this file. Hey, look at that. We just got the first record. That's not bad. Yeah, I've been playing this game. I don't even know for how long. For as long as I've been playing video games, I think. I remember playing this game ever since I was like 5 years old, maybe 6, with my cousins and my older brother. We used to suck at it though, but I was so young when I started playing it. Eventually, I got rid of my Super Nintendo. My parents made me get rid of it. Like, they gave it to some family friend or something. Of course, I was very upset. But as I grew older, I discovered emulation, and so I was able to start playing again. I got better at it, right? Because I played it a lot. I'm actually a speedrunner for this game. If you go on speedrun.com and you search Super Punch Out, you'll see me. I don't know what position I am currently. You'll see me under D-pad 328. I don't know what position I am in currently, but I think when I first uploaded my video, that was I was number 18th, I believe, which is not bad, right? I'm there, I'm published, my name is there, and my playthrough is there, which is pretty fun. It's really exciting. This is also not a bad time. I believe I should be getting the first place, the first record for this fight too. So yeah, I really like this game. It's interesting because I understand that not a lot of people know this game. Like, people tend to be a lot more familiar with the NES Punch Out, you know, the one with Mike Tyson or Mr. Dream. I don't know, whatever version people played, but they tend to be more familiar with that, either of those, than this one. Which is funny because growing up, I never knew that there was a Punch Out for the NES until, I don't know, someone told me eventually, or I read up on it probably on the internet when I was old enough to just look for games to play on an emulator on my computer when I had nothing else to do in elementary school or high school. Ah, damn, I missed it. But yeah, sorry it's taken so long for me to put out more material. Life has really taken me on a spin. I quit my job. Last time you heard from me, I was working at my old high school. I'm not doing that anymore, which is weird. It's bittersweet, right? Because I really like the students there. I like to think that more than a few of them like me. And it's hard because I believe that my vocation in life is to work with students. You know, I don't know. When I was in college, I worked with residential life for 3 years. Um, I was a resident advisor during my junior and senior years at college. And then when I did my fifth year, my year of grad school, I still worked residential life, but it was under a different position. I was a housing complex manager, which is basically an R, which is basically the same position as an RA, except I was looking over the houses that the school rented out for international students, international grad students mostly, and I didn't live in the same space, right? It's not like I had to do rounds on weekends or during weekdays to make sure that policy wasn't being broken, right? I had my own apartment elsewhere, but it did have to go into uh, those houses to make sure that everything is running properly, making sure that the residents of those houses saw my face, so that I could have let me try. Ah, man, I missed the timing. I hate that. Um, again, as with Contra, I am a lot better at this game. I like to think that I am a lot better at this game when I'm fully concentrated, when I'm not thinking of, you know, shit to say into this microphone. Um, but anyway, yeah, being a housing complex manager is very similar to being a resident advisor, except it's a little bit more detached, right? When you're a resident advisor, you live in the same space with your residents, and you see them all the time. Um, as a housing complex manager, you live elsewhere, but you still want to have a presence by going into the houses every now and then and putting up programs for residents and everything. But anyway, I started being a resident advisor in 2014, man. And honestly, through 2014 till this day, there is nothing that I have enjoyed doing more than being a resident advisor, right? Working in student affairs. Oh, I missed that. Yeah, he killed me. That was bad timing. I get too excited talking about being a resident advisor. But anyway, yeah, and I've done a lot of shit ever since I was a resident advisor, right? Dude, I graduated from college. I was unemployed for a while, and then I worked a miserable job in accounting, very superficial accounting. I hated that. I worked at a church for a little bit at the front desk, which wasn't bad. It was super relaxed, right? I was in the nonprofit area for a little bit. I was an intern there doing whatever office stuff. I enjoyed that too. And then I worked at my high school, which is fine. And I'm working now at another company, which I'll probably tell you about in a little bit. But yeah, it's been. I've worked in residential life. I worked in student affairs for 3 years, and there's nothing that I have enjoyed more. I have enjoyed more than that. Um, and I don't know. I don't know why I didn't pursue it as, professionally or even academically. I guess I never really believed that was a possibility, right? Like, I don't know. I was doing economics as an undergrad, and then I got my MBA with a concentration in finance. Mostly, it's complicated. What topic am I going into in this Let's Play? Um, it's complicated. So I went to school and I got a double major. I went to school and I did a double major in Hispanic literature and in economics. And a lot of people ask me why. They seem as two very different things that don't really complement each other. And they're right. I got him, yes. And they're right. What happens is that I really got into literature, I don't know, during my junior year in high school. And I knew that that's what I wanted to go to school for, right? I love literature and I love like analyzing it and studying it and knowing the meaning behind everything. I used to think that it's like an interesting way to study history, like the history of humanity, right? Because like when you read, I like to read mostly fiction. And when you read fiction, it's like, and I'm reading authors from like the 1920s, right? Like John Steinbeck is my favorite author in the world. And it's like you get a glimpse of what the world was like then, written in a creative manner, right? Through fiction. And I find that gorgeous, right? And I've always found that interesting, and that's why I wanted to go to school for literature. So I did that. The issue was that my parents got in a weird vibe, which I guess is totally fair, right? saying that they weren't going to send me to school abroad for me to just go study literature, right? They believed that if I wanted to study literature and just literature, that's something that I could do here at home, which I guess is fair, right? And so to keep them happy, I decided to do a double major in economics as well, and it was fine, right? I didn't hate it, and I passed my classes, and everything went well, right? I think it was second honors when I graduated. I don't remember. I don't want to get into that, right? It doesn't matter. The thing is that I didn't do poorly in school, even though I was doing a major that I didn't really care about. But that's exactly it, right? I got through my classes without really caring of what I was doing, right? Like I would do what I needed to do. I would study and I would do my homework and I would do my projects and whatever and go to class and think it was fine, but I just never really developed a vocation for it, and that's so important because what that meant to me was that I was just going to class and taking my test and completing my homework assignments, but not really looking to apply all that knowledge outside of the classroom, right? I was just never interested in that, and I never developed that interest. Anyway, eventually I figured just by having that degree in economics that would help me find a job. But anyway, no, I'm gonna take a few step backs, right? I'm gonna take a few step backs and go take this conversation in a different direction. So I was studying economics, right? And my school offered an accelerated master's program. If you qualified for it and you had the right grades, you could get tuition completely waived. And so to me, that sounded ideal, right? I got to stay another year in the States, in the city that I loved. And it was another year for me to work in student affairs, right, in residential life. And I got another degree, which I figured couldn't hurt, right? The issue is that most of my friends, the people that I hung out with, who were also studying economics, they were going into the MBA, and they were all doing the finance track. So I figured, excuse me. So I figured I was also studying economics and I was also doing the MBA. So I figured the natural thing to do was to, join them and do my MBA and concentrate in finance. Oof, he spits on you. How unfair is that? So I did that, but again, I don't care at all about finance, right? Like, of course, the MBA teaches you certain skills that always come in handy, right? Like operations stuff and a lot of leadership stuff, organizational type leadership, which is always very interesting and there's always helpful skills to have. But again, it's very broad, right? I feel like I didn't quite specialize in anything. Like my MBA didn't really specialize me in anything. And I didn't really care about economics, so I feel like that I wasn't really specialized in that either, right? I had my degree, but like I didn't really know how to think in those terms outside of the classroom and outside of the tests. So that was an issue. And because I had those degrees, I figured that's what I had needed to find a job in, right? As opposed to doing stuff in education and student affairs. So I started looking for jobs in finance and in accounting. I landed this job, and I hated it. I did it for like 3 months. It was a contract job, and I hated it. All it entailed was me looking at a spreadsheet, and looking at two spreadsheets and making sure that the numbers in one spreadsheet matched the numbers in the other spreadsheet. That was everything I did for 2 days, dog. You know how awful that is. Awful to me at least, right? I know there's people who, I don't know, who just genuinely enjoy that shit. And hey man, all the power to you. Someone needs to do that. And if you enjoy doing that and if you enjoy getting paid doing that, then all the power to you, man. But that's just not for me. And so yeah, I guess I never really believed that I could do that professionally, right? Do student affairs professionally. Especially because okay, so I tried, right? I did try. When I was on my OPT, I was an international student, so I was on my OPT after I graduated my 5th year with my master's. And so I did try to find jobs in student affairs. I did try to be a resident director at a bunch of different schools, and I actually did very well in a couple of the interview processes that I was involved in. Unfortunately, I couldn't really tell you why these opportunities didn't really come into fruition. Most likely, man, and I don't want to sound like a crybaby saying this, but most likely, it was my immigration status. I don't know, my OPT only lasted for a year, so that's just as long as I could work anywhere in the States legally without getting sponsored. And getting sponsored is expensive, and you have to be very lucky to get a to get a work visa, as far as I understand. So yeah, I don't know. Those processes never really came to fruition, unfortunately. And geez, okay, he's dead. So where am I going with this? Yeah, those opportunities never really came to fruition, and so I just kind of lost hope in it, right? I was like, okay, I guess being in education, and then I got a job in accounting, right? So I figured, okay, like education isn't working out, and accounting is, so I guess I just believed that that's what I was destined for, right? But then I came back home in Honduras again. For those of you who do not remember from my previous video, if you didn't watch it, whatever, if you don't know me personally. I came back home in Honduras in October, and I didn't really have any sort of professional network at all. And yeah, I didn't really know anyone. I didn't have any connections anywhere. I used to come back home for summers when I was in college, but like I was never productive over the summers, man. When I came back for the summers, I just wanted to hang out and fuck around with my buddies from high school, and I never looked into getting an internship here or anything. I never looked into making any connections here or anything. So it was awful, right? Like I didn't know where to start. I didn't feel confident in my skills in finance or economics or accounting at all. Right? If I ever happened to get an interview, because I applied to a bunch of different jobs in accounting. Ah, damn it, and in finance. This guy is cheap. If you super punch him, he'll do that shit where he try to hug you, and when he's hugging you, he's like stealing your energy or whatever, I think. And you have to time it, right? You have to time it. You have to time the second super punch when he's doing the weird animation that he does. Damn it. Anyway, it's tricky, and I think because I'm playing on a shitty emulator on my computer that there may be a little bit of an input lag, so it's just hard. All right, that did it. I don't remember what the hell I was saying. But yeah, I was applying to a bunch of jobs at whatever banks and whatever other institutions that needed like accounting and finance, not really knowing what those jobs entailed, but definitely being sure that they were going to be jobs that I was going to hate, right? Damn it. But then what happened? One of my best friends in life happens to be my old high school teacher. Not that she's old, I mean old as in like I was in high school a long time ago and she was my high school teacher then. She was like my mentor, and she is my mentor in life. Big shout out to her. She was still working at my high school. She went to get her master's and she came back and they offered her a position again in my high school. So when I told her that I was going to be coming back home like for good, she said that I could be one of the substitute teachers they could have on call, right? Whenever teachers are out traveling with students, participating in some bullshit, I don't know, inter-school competition. Not bullshit, right? This is important, and I really believe that inter-school competition is healthy for schools and whatever, and students. So yeah, she was able to get me into that, and I started substituting at my high school and at my old high school, and that was fun, man, because I don't know, right? Kids in high school, when they see a substitute teacher come in, of course they'll try to get smart, but I like to think that I had enough personality to be able to get them over that attitude that they want to try and get smart with their substitute teacher, and I was able to get them on my side for the most part, right? It's not like I was best friends with them or anything, but I don't know, being a substitute teacher was super chill at my high school. Basically, all they needed me to do was watch over them, right? Whatever teacher I'd be covering would leave the assignments that they wanted the kids to work on, and all I was required to do, like I wasn't going in there and teaching the actual fucking class. I was just going in there, and basically telling the kids the instructions that their teacher had left. And then I just watched them over. So what I would do is I would bring a book. I read a lot those days. I read Murakami. I read, I can't think of the title while I'm playing this and talking into this microphone. Let me see. I have the book right here at my desk. Norwegian Wood. I read that while I was doing that. And I also read Estrella Distante by Roberto Bolaño, which is a good fucking novel, by the way. But yeah, I had a good time with the kids, man. Again, it was very casual coming into my high school as a substitute. And so I just got to hang out with the kids. And again, working with students is something that I enjoy, right? Getting to know them and being able to be a resource to them in any sort of way. And I don't know, I'm a very candid dude, right? I'll be open with literally anyone. Of course, I'll know what to say to whoever I'm talking to, but I'm usually pretty open. And I would tell them stories about my life and everything, and I think they would enjoy that. They would laugh a lot most of the time. Most of the time they wouldn't be laughing at the story itself, but how much of a dork I am, I guess, and how ridiculous my life is. But yeah, I was substituting, and eventually by chance I ran into the school superintendent, and she remembered me. Oof, Matt Clan is actually my favorite character in this entire game. Jeez. I have a weird thing with clowns, right? I find them super interesting because they're supposed to entertain people, but then people are like, whoa, what is this? Wow, this is rather unfortunate, man. I was not counting on this at all. Okay, so how do I proceed? I do not know how to proceed. Should I open another game? Do you guys want me to play another game? I really wanted to play through Punch-Out, man. Because I could beat it in like 15 minutes. Maybe even quicker. I think I had a good time. I was making good time in this playthrough. It's cursed, man. I'm fucking cursed. Mad Clown is my favorite character, and I was telling you about why he's my favorite character, and I was telling you that the reason why he's my favorite character is because I find clowns super interesting because they're supposed to entertain people and bring people joy, but then some people are like deathly scared of them, and I find that super interesting. And then the game just fucking crashed, man. I'm cursed. I am cursed. And I mean, I would open the game again, it's just I don't think it's saved. Maybe it did. Let's see, let's try that out. Maybe it saved up until that Australian guy that does the hugging thing. I hope you don't find it too annoying to have to watch me play through him and that Japanese guy again, in case it did happen to save. Let's see, continue. Carl, hey, look at that. Championship mode, excellent. Okay, whatever, right? I'll just keep playing and I'll keep talking. I do not remember what I was saying. Maybe I do. When I was going to my school as a substitute, I ran a couple of times into my school superintendent, and of course she remembered me, right? And not to pat myself on the back too much, but I was pretty active when I was in high school. I did a lot of music. I was in student council my senior year. I had decent grades, right? I graduated with like a 90 point something, maybe like 10th place in my class, whatever. I missed the timing. That was lucky. So yeah, she remembered me and she was surprised to see me there. She was happy. And she started asking me, right? Like, what are you doing? Are you back for good and whatever? And I'm like, yeah. And of course, I took the opportunity to, try to like nudge her into, I don't know, offering me some kind of job because I fucking needed it, man. Those few months that I was like unemployed after having come back home for good, they were fucking miserable, man. And things are much better now that I'm employed. I like to think, hopefully. I don't know. I'm still not doing great emotionally, but at least I don't feel like as much of a shithole I don't feel as much of a piece of shit for not even being able to make money for myself to afford little things, right? Little things that just keep me sane, like buying books and buying video games and going out for coffee and affording the gas to go out for coffee and taking trips to go see people, places, and whatever, right? So I wanted to be employed, and so whenever I would run into the superintendent when I was going in as a substitute, I'd try to nudge her and let her know, yeah, like I'm not doing anything, and it's a blessing to be here because it's always good to come back to my old high school, and I love the kids here, and I love working with students, whatever, right? You know the drill. So eventually, yeah, she offered me a job in administration. The lady who was coordinating the extracurricular program of the school, she was leaving in the middle of the year. She had put in her resignation, and she was leaving in March, and they needed someone to help transition, right? At least like help close the year. And so I was brought in to do that, and it was fine, right? It was weird. I probably didn't perform as well as people expected me to, for a variety of reasons. I'm just gonna be open and transparent and tell you this right now. Probably because, well, I wasn't in the best states of mind when I started working there. And beyond that, I don't know. I guess just being back in my old high school made me feel a little bit too comfortable, right? And I know that's not the most responsible thing, but it's a combination of things, right? It's just me being in a weird sort of comfort zone while I wasn't doing very well emotionally, that it just led me to perhaps not taking the job as seriously as I should have, or not pay as close attention to the protocols as I should have. So yeah, I didn't perform as well as I should have, man, and I kind of regret it, honestly. But hey, I enjoyed it while I was there, man. I enjoyed working with the kids. I like to think that a lot of the kids enjoyed having me there too. You know, they like to come into my office and just shoot the shit, you know, talk. I would tell them stories, and we'd tell jokes and talk about video games and talk about, I don't know, culture and what they do. I always encourage them with their extracurricular activities, right? I like to encourage them. I hope this doesn't crash. I don't know how to save state. Let me save state real quick, just in case if this crashes again. I can try to open it right from right from before it crashed. Okay, it's saved. I missed that. So yeah, it was a good time. What was funny though is that as soon as, I don't know, I was like on my second week maybe working at Marketies at my high school, and this education company, they hit me up over LinkedIn and saying that they saw my profile and that they had an opening here in Tegucigalpa. I don't know if I should say the name of the company. I mean, I already said the name of the high school that I work at. I don't know if I should. I don't know how anonymous I want to keep this. I mean, most of you already know who I am, and most of you who will be listening to this already know my stories. Anyway, it's an education company, and they hit me up over LinkedIn, saying that they had this position open here in Tegucigalpa, and that they saw my profile on LinkedIn and all my information, and they thought that I could potentially be a good fit. He gets really pissed off right now. Mad Clown gets really pissed off. Good thing I am epic at playing this game that I can just end him immediately. And so they asked me, this is a really big international education company, right? And so even though I was comfortable at my job at my old high school, and, you know, I had all the intentions of doing that for however long I had to, when a company as big as this company asks you to interview, you want to accept that invitation, right? When they invite you to interview, you want to say yes. And so I did. And so I interviewed a few times with them, quite a few times with them. The process was actually pretty long, just about a month. I mean, hey, man, I don't know. One interview, I guess, went better than the previous one. And so they offered me the job, which I'm really happy that they did. And that's the thing, right? Like, I worked at my high school, right? Like, my superintendent hired me. She wanted me to work at my high school. And even after I left, she was, like, pretty upset that I was leaving because she wanted me. People in administration, I hate that. I honestly think this dude might be the hardest fight. At least when I haven't been playing this game as often, this dude is usually the dude who gives me the most trouble when I come back to the game. which is weird, right? Because he's not even the last character in the game. Uh, but I do find him awfully hard, especially now that I'm not quite focused and I'm talking to you guys instead. Uh, but yeah, right? Like, the superintendent in my high school hired me, and she said, and she was upset that I was leaving because she said that she she was ready to move me into actually teaching next year, like the next school year. They said, she said, and a couple other people in administration, like my superiors, they all said that they were kind of counting on me for next year, and they were gonna move me to teach a Spanish class, which I would have absolutely fucking loved. Man, I would have absolutely loved to do that. But again, this company is huge and it's international, and it's gonna give me international projection, which is something that I'm, very interested in. Jeez, he killed me, man. Um, it's something that I had to take advantage of, man. And to be fair, man, it pays quite well, right? And so I just had to take it. I felt like I needed to take it. And I feel decent at my new job, right? But whatever. Jeez, there's definitely some input lag on my controller. I find him moving to the side to avoid a lot of his attacks is not as smooth as I want it to be. Jeez. I almost have him! Is this it? How many times have I knocked him down? I don't remember. I think this might be the third time. Please tell me it's the third time. Please tell me he's dead. Yes! Okay. But what I'm getting at, right? I don't know how many times I've said these words in the last, minute, but people in my high school wanted me to work in my high school. And now this other company, and that specializes in education services, publishes books and online platforms, and is in assessment and everything. They also hired me, right? So it made me really believe, after being so disheartened from my interview processes and residential life back in the States not working out, being able to find jobs in education here at home, in my old high school, and at this new education company, makes me believe that it is actually possible, right? That even though my degrees, whatever, are in economics and I'm in business administration and finance, or whatever the hell you want to call it, it is actually possible for me to be in education. And that's honestly what I want to do, right? I want to be in education. I want to be in education administration or student affairs or something, man. I want to work with students. I want to be a resource to them. I like working with students, even though I would like teaching Spanish or whatever, like literature. Honestly, what I find most interesting about working with students is being a resource to them, making sure that whatever they're good at, right? Because I don't know how this is going to sound. I'm just basically talking out of my ass right now. But I guess I know kids, when they're in school, they're not only in school, right? They do a bunch of different things. Kids who are smart also do a bunch of different things, right? Kids who are smart, they can do whatever. They can do sports. They can do musical instruments. They can be doing math club or whatever kind of other things outside of the classroom. They'll be great at it. And then there are students who aren't necessarily as they don't perform as highly inside the classroom as they do in doing other things outside of the classroom, right? Like maybe they don't like math, and it's for whatever reason it's harder for them to understand math, but they are absolutely fucking talented playing the fucking piano or whatever. I want to make sure that this kid has the opportunity to keep playing piano while doing what he needs to do in school to be able to afford to practice piano and excel at piano, right? Because being in school is weird, man. There's a lot of expectations. Being a kid is weird. You tend to be a lot more judgmental of other people because you just don't know any better. And so, I don't know. I just want to be a resource to students, any and all students, just to make sure that they can develop outside of the classroom, right? And that they can be successful outside of the classroom, because they're only going to be in a classroom for so long, right? For so many years, and eventually they're going to leave the classroom. And I want to make sure that they're successful when they leave the school environment. And that's why I liked working with residential life so much, right? I'm running out of time. This dude moves too much, man. It's hard to. I have like 55 seconds to kill him before I die. When the timer reaches 3 minutes, I lose by default. So I'm gonna keep quiet for a second and try to kill his ass. See if I can do this. Jeez, I'm gonna die. I'm not gonna make it. I don't want to keep completely silent, but I'm focusing. I think I got him. Yeah, he's dead. Boom. Yeah, I don't know. I like working residential life because I got to hang out with these students. Of course, the dynamic was different, right? Because we were all peers. Like I was also a student, but I got to see all my residents outside of the classroom, right? And I got to know them beyond what they were doing for school, for academics, beyond their major or whatever, right? Beyond what they were going to school for. I got to hear them play the guitar, and I got to see them play varsity soccer, right? And I got to hear the stories about how they like to go volunteering and how when they graduated, they were looking into doing some kind of volunteer program somewhere, right? That kind of shit. That shit just moves me. And I'm going in circles here, I think. I don't even fucking know. But that's exactly why I like working with students, right? I just want to help them in any sort of capacity that I can for them to be successful in their lives. And so working in my old high school and working at this place that I am right now makes me feel that it is actually possible to go into education, right? That I don't really have to go into finance or economics, right? To be able to have a good job that I can be successful at, and not only successful at, but actually like happy and fulfilled, you know? So yeah, I don't know. Where do I move on from this? I don't know if there was a point that I was trying to make when I started telling the story, or if I was just telling you about it. I'm sorry if I went on a tangent and then I didn't complete my original, I didn't make the point I originally intended to make, because I do not remember. But yeah, I don't know what else to say other than I want to go into education formally. I want to go into student affairs or student education administration. I want to go back to school as soon as possible. I feel like I owe it to myself, right? Because even though I did study literature, which I loved, and I also feel like going further into that is never out of the question, right? Like going into a PhD program for... I went to school for Hispanic literature. My major is in Hispanic literature. But to be honest, if I was to pursue further schooling in literature, I would go for American literature. I fucking love that shit, man. John Steinbeck is my favorite author ever. Excuse me. But yeah, I did go to school for literature, which I absolutely loved. But I also went to school for economics and for business administration, and finance, which I didn't really give a shit about. So I feel like, and I spent a lot of time doing shit that I really cared for, right? And so I feel like I just owe it to myself. He's dead. I feel like I owe it to myself. I feel like I owe myself a second shot going back to school and actually doing something that I care about, right? Because I did pretty well doing shit that I didn't really care about, and I feel like I could be a lot more successful going to school for something that I'm really passionate about, right? Yeah, and I don't know, even though I'm comfortable at my new job and it's decent, I don't know, I still want to go back to school as soon as possible. Abroad, man, I want to go abroad. I don't want to be home. Not that there's anything wrong with being home. It's just, I enjoyed being abroad so much, dog. Like, I enjoyed being on my own and figuring shit out on my own and making, like, building relationships with people from scratch, right? Like people from all over the world or all over the United States or whatever you want to call it, right? People with like different stories and different upbringings and whatever, many different places, different ways to think about life and the world. I enjoyed that shit, man, and I feel like this is not as common here, right? I don't have this. It's not opportunities to meet people who come from other places are just not as common here for whatever reason that may be, and I miss that. And dude, don't get me wrong. Being home is a blessing, right? And being home with my parents and being able to be with them here for as long as I'm here is definitely a blessing, and I'm happy that I'm here. I'm trying to make the best of it, I guess is what I'm saying, right? Because I'm not entirely happy that I'm here, but I'm definitely trying to make the best of it, right? I'm trying to enjoy time with my parents and whatever, but I do want to be elsewhere. Shit, I lost my train of thought entirely. But yeah, it's just a thing that I like being with my parents. I love them, and we have a good relationship, right? We get along super well, and whatever. And I like being around them, right? I missed them when I was abroad in school. But the thing is, when I was back in school, man, when I was a housing complex manager, that job I told you that I had when I was on my 5th year, my grad school year, had my own apartment, like a whole apartment to myself with my own bathroom, my own bedroom, my own living room, my own kitchen. And I hosted my parents there on more than one occasion. You know how fucking satisfying that is? To be able to bring your parents, who are all the way down in Honduras, to this country where you literally started from I literally started from scratch like 4 years ago, right? I didn't know literally anyone. I didn't know absolutely anyone. But I worked my way to be able to host them at my own apartment, right? And they didn't even have to pay. They didn't have to pay for any housing at all. And we would cook meals at my own apartment. You know how fucking satisfying that is for them to be able to see and witness everything that I've like earned for myself, man. I love that. And so even though I'm trying to make the best of being here at home with them. Jesus fucking damn it. I just find it a lot more gratifying to be able to host them elsewhere where I started from scratch and I've accomplished everything literally on my own, right? I find that infinitely more satisfying, even if I had to sacrifice the amount of time that I actually spend with them. I just feel like it's a lot more valuable to me, right? Like everyone has different ways of looking at life and their relationship with their family and whatever, but to me, it's significantly more satisfying to host my parents at my own home and have them see everything that I'm doing. I might die, not because he kills me, but because of the time. Because I'm really distracted talking to you, and I'm getting really emotional about the topic that I'm talking about. But yeah, it's insanely gratifying to host your parents in an entirely different city, right? And it's insanely satisfying that they get to see everything that you're doing and everything that you've earned for yourself. And I want to experience that again. And that's why I want to go abroad to school and hopefully be able to settle down elsewhere, right? So yeah, that's my life, man. That is my... And I hate that shit, right? Like what sucks is that... See, like... I'm blocking his punch and then I still get fucking hurt, and it's just fucking cheap. And I don't know if there's a better way to try to avoid those punches so that I don't take any damage at all. Okay, I may run out of time, and I'm scared because he'll do that one more time. I'm sure. There's a specific time where he starts. I think it's at 2:15. He'll start doing that bullshit again, and then that takes up a lot of time. I'm scared. I'm so nervous. How many times has he knocked me down? 3 times? Am I dead? I'm not dead yet, but I only have 40 seconds. I'm not gonna make it, man. I hate this. Because the same shit happened with Contra. See, like, he's gonna do this shit forever, and I can't punch him, and my time's gonna run out. And I'm fucking pissed, because the same shit happened with Contra. When I did my Contra playthrough, I wasn't able to beat the game on one continue because I was distracted thinking about shit to spit onto this microphone, and the same shit is happening right now. I guarantee you, not that it really matters. It matters to me. I'm sure you don't care, but I guarantee you that I'm a lot better at this game when I'm focused, and that this asshole would not give me as much trouble. Look at that shit. Come on, man. That's just cheap. Whatever. Oh, look at that. I'm actually doing it. I'm avoiding everything. Ah, fuck. Oh, whatever. Time is up. Okay. I'm gonna give this another shot. I can't. My last playthrough of Contra, I didn't finish the game. I can't finish this playthrough. I can't just finish this recording without actually beating this game for you guys. Hey man, I don't know. I hope you find listening to my voice, talking about my life, and stuttering a lot because I'm not used to doing this shit. I hope you find it entertaining. I hope you find it valuable in any sort of way. I hope this brings some kind of value to your life, man. Because honestly, if I'm not, then Jesus fucking hell. If this is not bringing you any value into your life, then why the fuck am I doing it? And why the fuck are you listening to me? Yeah. And thank you though for listening to me and for watching this. At the very least, I hope I entertain you, right? There's a lot of shit that I could have said about this game, a lot of commentary on the game itself, but I got too distracted talking about, you know, life and shit. What kind of shit can I tell you about this game that I haven't said already? Nope. I'm getting my ass handed to me. And I don't think I've knocked him down a single time yet, have I? Fuck, I don't remember. Anyway, I do think that the previous fight is a lot easier. I mean, a lot harder than this guy. The issue with this guy is that he's just cheap, right? He does a bunch of shit. He does a bunch of shit that'll wear the clock down, and that you'll get damaged. You'll get hurt even if you block his punches and whatever. And so that's just cheap, right? And so I don't refuse to call that difficult. It's just cheap. And so I do think that his brother, the previous character that I fought, I don't know if I gave you enough time to look at his title screen, but his brother, I do think he's a better fighter, and it's a tougher fight. And it's a lot more fucking fair. Oh, die, you son of a bitch. I love Bob Charlie. On top of Mad Clown, I think he's my favorite character. I know it may be very insensitive, right? There's a lot of like weirdly racial humor in this game. Bob Charlie, who's a Jamaican, and he has the dreads, and he like makes weird sort of like sounds. He just like dances around. And he dances around. And he goes ooh ooh, which is definitely fucking racially insensitive. It has to be. Take it with a grain of salt, man. Damn it, I'm numb, and I may run out of time again. Fuck my life, man. Take it with a grain of salt. This game was made back in the 90s with a completely American, you know, audience in mind, which is fucked, right? But I think we have come a long way since then. I'm gonna die. I have 10 seconds. There's no way, man. Nah, come on. I hate this shit. Anyway, I think he's funny. I just like his name, right? Bob Charlie. Haha. Whatever. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. I don't know how many more attempts I have. Again, it may not matter this much to you, but it kind of does matter to me a lot. If you do not believe that I can kill this game in one try, usually my playthrough is on speedrun, and you can see it there, and you'll witness it. Yeah, I find Bob Charlie pretty funny. Oh, what I was gonna say with like racially insensitive humor is that as long as we're aware that it's racially insensitive, I think it's so, you know what I mean? Like, if it makes us realize that there's an issue with it, as long as we realize that there's an issue with it, I think it's fair game, man. You know, I don't mind insensitive comedy, insensitive sense of humor at all. My own sense of humor is pretty insensitive most of the time, but it's not because I'm ignorant of the issues that my sense of humor brings upon. Right? I know that it's fucked up, and
I use that humor around people that know that what I'm saying is fucked up, right? And so that's how I think it's fair. And I know that's controversial, not to get political or anything, but that's just how I look at things. Look at that, he's doing this bullshit again. Literally, fuck this asshole. He's so bald, and he's ugly, and it looks like he's wearing carton milks for shoes. And he's just stupid. And I hate him. Is this my first time knocking him down? It might be, and I'm already halfway down my timer. Look at him, thinking himself hot shit. Fucking asshole. I hate you. I'm gonna destroy you. Yeah, I don't know what else I can tell you guys. I enjoy doing this. I feel like I'm doing a much better job than I was last time. I'm having an easier time speaking into the microphone, which is definitely good. And maybe it'll motivate me to do this more, to do another video and do it more often. Hey! Yes, I killed him! Look at that! Oh, I feel so good. I'm so satisfied. I am so satisfied. Yeah, once again, I hope me doing this brings some kind of value into your life. It definitely is a good outlet for me. I think I said this in my previous playthrough of Contra 3, but if I can do something that's creative and that is like therapeutic to me, because of course talking to a microphone about my life, as I told you before earlier in this playthrough, I'm a very open guy, and just like talking and telling stories and whatever makes me feel better. So if I can do something that's creative and therapeutic, it's good, right? It's helpful and it's valuable to me. So because I died a couple of times to this asshole, we're not getting a little cutscene. When you complete the game, beating everyone without dying a single time, they play like a little clip of the characters like saying their catchphrases or doing some weird shit. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. And I guess I'll see you soon. Peace the fuck out.